Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining this video, and if you're new, you're welcome. So this was my previous dashboard and I just made an advanced version and I decided to carry you guys along. So this is the advanced version, looks more precise, more easy to read, interpret, and someone would actually reach out to me on Twitter that I should make a more advanced version for the new update. So this is the new one I have done, and I'm just going to start from scratch just in case you didn't watch that previous video and you want to design this dashboard. I really love this dashboard. Sales has their color, quantity sold has their color, and then the remaining other visuals has their color. So it's built with so much intentionality and attention to details. If you want to build a book dashboard that looks like something that is UI UX Figma integrated, this is the place you need to be. So just stay tuned while we start designing this dashboard. Start with a blank workbook entirely. I'm going down to file. I'm very sure you know how Power BI works, and it's going to bring out the option of starting a new report. Yes, so this is a blank report and I'm just going to click on that. I'm starting from scratch. You don't need to panic or anything. I didn't import any visual anywhere. This is a very simple dashboard to design. I recreated this in less than 1 hour, and I believe that you should be able to do that also. So workbook has been opened, and now we need to change the background and the canvas settings of our dashboard. You can see in the visualization pane, format page. Here we have the options to add any kind of visual we have, and here we have the option to change our canvas settings. So after that, we're just going to get data. We change from 16:9 to custom, and then we just increase the height so we get enough space to actually add our visuals. So I think this one, the width is all right because I want something that is not exactly square. So this exactly represents what we need. I'll click on get data. Like I always say, I have seen a couple of comments that you guys usually ask for the data sets. I always explain in the video, so if you watch the video to this point, you know how I got the data set and how you can access it. I'd always say it in the description box and also in my video that I downloaded the data set from a bootcamp and I created a Google document where I could access the document. So if you cannot access that document, just look for the link in the description box. I would always put it there. Sometimes I put it in the comment section as well. Open the link and you see a zip folder where you see customer data set and sales data set, and you can always access it. This is the data set here, Lita Capstone data set. It is trying to import right now and we'll just wait for it to build a connection. So this is the data set and we're just going to click on sales data because we've worked on customer data in the previous video. So I'll click on sales data and click on, the data has actually been cleaned, but we'll just click on transform data. And now every of the measures I'm adding, I have to re-add because it's a new video, and that's the beautiful thing about this video. So on the Power Query editor, we'll just remove duplicate values, and that's all we need to do because the data has been cleaned with Excel and SQL, and this is just a Power BI project. So to remove duplicate data, you have to highlight all cells, because if you don't highlight all cells, it will remove duplicate for just the cell you highlighted. And other columns that don't have duplicate values among the other ID would have problems with their data. So just click on the first column and then Ctrl A. So it's going to copy all cells that way, and then you can now use the option remove duplicates. It's very important to take note, if not you would have loss of data, and if you have mistakenly deleted or removed duplicates for columns that you have not meant to remove duplicates for, you can easily come down to these steps and cancel it here. So you can see this X arrow is to cancel. Once you cancel it, you go back to the previous stage you were in your cleaning, and that's why Power Query editor is very very easy to use. You can always write your code. For me, I prefer using the options here because it is easier and faster to use. So once you do that, you can always click on close and apply. So if you open the drop down, there are options to only apply, to only close, and to close and apply. But we just want to close and apply, so we just click on close and apply and let it load before we go right into our video. And if it shows this option, that means it is loading background, and here immediately shows this, and you know that you are on track. So we'll see. So we need to add a shape or two or three. I don't know, depending on how the video goes. But first, we need to add a shape to separate the background from the title part. So just double click on this, and then it brings out a shape in blue color where we have to edit. Yeah, so just drag down, format it to gray because we don't need this color. Increase the box to fit in to the size where your visuals are going to show, something as simple as this. So let's just remove this Q&A that is preparing. We have it covering the whole page now. Depending on how much size you want to give your title part, you can always drag up or drag down. Then on the style, change the fill color to this color and turn off the border. Just adding our text box for the title of our dashboard, right? When I say text box, I expect that. So we'll just type sales dashboard or sales report, highlight it, and then use a bolder font that can be readable by, because that's what you're trying to sell even before you sell visuals inside your dashboard. So you have to like let everybody know that this is a sales dashboard and this is what you are doing with the dashboard. This is what the whole project entails. So that's why it's important to make sure that it is readable and seen by everyone. So I increased the font to 36. So I believe that there's nobody that sees this dashboard that won't be attracted to the title first. We have two sizes to add, which is the region and the products. So showing as a table, and then we'll just change to a slicer because that's what we need. And then we'll make sure that our values are bold enough. That's just what's very important information. So for the previous one, we used the tile and then it made everything confusing for people to actually understand. That's why I'm doing a new dashboard. So if you designed that first one and you did this advanced one, just drop a comment. So change the font from there to a bolder one and make it bold enough. Increase from 12 to 13. I think we can also increase to 14, and then I made it bold enough. Then for the values, we would do the same so that it is readable and understanding enough by everyone that comes across the values you get. So just drag towards the side and then reduce the size to fit in, reduce the size to fit into our title space like I said earlier. Then we don't need to change background or anything because this is actually what we're doing. So I've noticed that this my values is not changing or coming up in bold. So most times I just reset to default and start over, and then because most times it's just an error, and if it still persists then there is an issue. You can change the font to something bold, then increase to 14. So you can just copy and paste the visual and then change to product. I always like to actually not waste time because imagine we start to do the whole process all over. Just make sure you are careful, like I say in every of my videos. And I'd like to add dividers. So come down to shapes, and had this stroke. That's something I call divider. It's a flat line and it's very versatile. So I'm just going to rotate it to 90 degree. 90 degrees is a right angle, so it's like a straight line. Without dragging this thing, you can actually like type it here, and then it just comes up instead of stressing like the way I just did right now. And then just try to do something creative enough. Make the stroke size, fill color, change into black. Border is what actually defines the color inside, so change the border into black as well. Increase the width of the border if you want to. Let's just copy and paste, drag to the other end of our drop down slicer. So let's see how it looks. You guys, what do you think? If you actually don't like the way it looks big, you can reduce it back to 1px. Reduce the box, the size of the box, so it looks thicker, better than it was before. I don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing, but it makes it look better than it was before. Like, I mean, the stroke is not as invisible as it was. Then just drag, make sure that it is right in the middle of the two slicers, because they are meant to be like borders, or what did I call it the other time? They're meant to actually divide the title from the other values, right? So we have our drop downs now. If you watch my video very well, you know we are going next to cards. So directly to cards, and I'm just going to reduce the size of this one a little bit, so I have where to tap on the screen when I want to add a visual. So yeah, I just try to make sure that it is not too close, and then this region drop down is too close to, yeah, so this one can always move down this way, so I can click this part for the screen, and makes a lot of sense like this. So now we go to cards. So we have a number of things we need to add: the quantity, the unit price, and the sales price. The sales price, we have to add a calculated column in the dashboard because there was no column saved for sales, and we know that quantity times unit price is usually sales. So this comes up as a column chart but would change to a card. I always try my possible best to use a visual that was already embedded in Power BI, so you don't have difficulties importing visuals, because I know how difficult it might be sometimes when we have to use license to get visuals. So that's why I love to use something that is already used by embedded in Power BI before. Reduce the size a little and just try to fit it in like this. So just Ctrl C and Ctrl V for, okay, I thought I already pasted it, so just paste it for our unit price, and then we do our formatting. So first, for quantity, I don't like the call out value because it's showing some of quantity and it's meant to show quantity sold. You can use some of quantity, but then professionally, quantity sold sounds better to me. I'm changing my font from DIN to Arial Black. Let's see how Arial Black looks. Yeah, it looks bold enough, right? Easy to read and understand. And then for the call out value, we're making it bold, and we are changing the value, the font color, to black. We increase the font to 14 so it is visible enough, and then easily format painter on next visual before we add our calculated column. So when I format my painter on this one, it automatically formats the the formatting I did on that one, so I don't have to do double work. Unit price, changing the call out value to unit price, right? And then yeah, so we have what we have. We just easily come here to our data field, and these three dots beside it for more options. Open it, you have the option to create a new column, and you can always go to Power Query to do that as well, which is this transform data pane at the top. So change the column highlighted to sales, and then once you click on this symbol, it shows you options of things you can derive a new column from. So we'll just click on quantity and then the asterisk sign, which is the multiplication sign in data analysis, and then also unit price, and then that's what we need to do to get our sales column. Very easy, right? So we just copy and paste our unit price visual. Just drag. Yes, so just drag this way so everything aligns, and change from sales. So I know it is easy to copy and paste, but I always say it in my videos, be careful with changing the values in the visual so you don't run into trouble with your data accuracy. So showing sum of sales, we just change to sales. We change from normal value to currency so everybody doesn't mistaken the sales price with the unit price or anything. And I think we should also add the currency symbol to the unit price because it is sold with a currency, right? I just decided to use the dollar currency. You can always use any currency of your choice because it is a practice data set and the currency wasn't described in the data set. So we move to unit price also and change to dollar currency. Click on the unit price and add a dollar sign currency. So click on this arrow under auto, and the lower arrow means you're changing to 0. So you can always click on the auto and change to 0 yourself manually. So just make sure all our visuals are like the same size and wide enough. Okay, so this size is okay, and most times I just easily check the properties so I don't make a mistake with the properties. We'll just have to rearrange and then add our date drop down before we go into the visuals we are adding. So just try to fit it in, give them consistency really matters with your dashboard, and then you can as well just copy this drop down and paste and drag down to this point so we have the same, so we don't have to stress basically. So turn off from sales to order date, and you see that it's showing as a drop down. We'll just change to a slider so you can see between option there. So this is what we have as a slider. So we're just going to change the format and try to make it look better, and then increase the font. So the header will just increase the font and increase from 14 to something around 18, and then change from order date to like date range or date, but I just think date range is better. Change the values from 9 to something around 15. Oh, I think 15 is too much, just 12. 12 looks actually better than 15, and then I believe that is not even as wide as the remaining visuals that we have on this page, but because it's just a slider we can just leave it that way. And then for our slider will change from ash to black, so it shows on the screen. And I think this is all. Then for sales, we have a color. Sales should be in black and quantity sold should be in purple. That's how I formatted this dashboard. So sales comes first because that's the main reason why we're doing the dashboard. And as you can see that the size is not even consistent, and it's very important to focus on consistency. Go back down to our generals and open properties. The width, we can reduce the width to 300 or 288. I think this one too should be around that size, 288. So everything is actually in size 288. And then add, drag, just arrange according to priority, because like most times our visuals really need to be arranged in the right proportion, so when stakeholders or the audience see it, they know what you're trying to prove to them you did. So unit price should be in the middle because of the fact that they're both in currency, so we're not confused as to what we are doing. So just try to rearrange and make sure that everything falls the sizes. So just arrange and make sure that the spacing makes sense. I feel like we can actually do 300 per visual, 300 whatever centimeter or the size, so everything just aligns and we're not confused. So because this doesn't have enough space to accommodate 300, just move, and then I'm sure you guys saw what I did there. So to just make sure that you're not doing the wrong thing, line them, make sure that all visuals are not on the borderline and they're not overlapping or covering. So as you can see, everything looks better this way. We just move to our visuals and we need to add two more shapes to the visuals to be our background for our bar chart and our column charts, and the trends we're adding. So we're adding a rectangle and then we'll just make it wide enough to this size, and then Ctrl C and Ctrl V. Then we have on the other edge too. This makes it very easy. Then we just change the style and then change the color to white, and the border, we turn off the borders. For the other side too, we do the same, change the color to white and turn off the borders. So we have two visuals like that. I'll have to come back to this visual that I clicked on initially and then make sure that it is at the back of all visuals, right? And then yes, so now we can do our work. For this one, we've not sent backwards as well. If we don't send backwards, it's going to overlap our actual charts. It's very important to pay attention to that because it might mess your work up and then you're just confused, you don't know what to do. So you can just use something like send backwards, and for confirmation's sake, click on this and send to back. Yes, so next we're adding our monthly sales trend, because that's like the main purpose of this dashboard, to show our sales and how it went. So sales comes first, and again we need to, like, first things first, let's just even change the background of sales, because we want a black background for sales and we want a purple background for quantity sold, like I said. So effect background turned to black, and then the values are turned to white so we can see the values, right? So come down here, visual, and under call out value we change it to white, and then for color as well, under category label we also change to white. So we have what we have here, and for quantity sold we just do the same. We are going to understand what I'm doing very soon, because by the time we get to the point where we're adding visuals for quantity sold and for sales, you'd see that we have to be intentional about the colors we are assigning. I just learned that recently actually. So for purple, just I believe that the color code I used was 744 ECD. I can't remember. So this was the color code I used, and I actually didn't forget the color code. So most times you can just like learn this color code, so it helps you work. I know black is 000, black is 000, white is FFFF or something. So just learn the basic color code for every color, so you don't have difficulties with adding color codes to your visuals. It makes your visual come out better than these ones that are here. I'm not saying some that are here are not nice enough, but it's just important to learn your color codes. Yes, so first we add our monthly sales trend. Just make sure there's a space on the screen you can click because of the amount of colors and shapes we have. So click on sales, and then we click on order dates. We open the drop down for date hierarchy and then turn off. So there is a trick I learned to actually use a short form of labeling for our visuals, and I would make a separate video for that in my next video, so that we learn together how to make the short forms of our labeling. Because see, January, February, March, the visuals are not showing, that the labels are not showing enough like it would if it was in the short form. It's actually nothing serious. It's just building measures, writing measures, or duplicating the date. But I'll make a new video for that. And for sales, the color we want is black, right? And we want a line chart. So let's first go to visual pane and change to a line chart. This is what we have for the line chart, and then we just try to format our visual, make the x-axis look better. You can see that even the values are like showing dot 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 and so on. So if we had the short form, we won't have any issue. Turn off the title, and then we move to the y-axis, where we can also, you have to turn off the title as well. And for the values, you can see it clearly. It is showing in 0.2, 0.4, 0.6 million. Since it's showing 0 point and there are no values that are more than 0 point, we just change to thousands, so it shows in thousands instead of in millions, and then our data is interpreted better. So make sure that the values are in black, and then they are bold enough to see, and they are readable. So something like this works. And then we need to remove grid lines, because I believe it is obstructing our visuals, causing distractions. And then for the color, we change to black, and we add shaded area. I'm not trying to bombard you guys, but just change to black, and for shaded area, just turn it on. This is what we have. I feel like for the shaded area, we can always like increase the transparency. Can reduce the shaded area. We can also increase, we can make it match the line color, or we can turn it off. But I'm trying to achieve something like a gray color for the shaded area. So I believe this is alright. Then we add markers to our visuals to know where each value stands in the labeling. We would have added data labels, but if we do, our data starts looking complicated and hard to read. So this is actually nice enough. Then for title, we go to general and open the drop down, change to monthly sales trend, monthly sales trend. And then we're using this font for our title. Very important that we don't forget. And then increase the font so it is readable. And then we have our monthly sales trend, and then we also have sales by region on the same page underneath monthly sales trend. So click on this part of the screen and select sales by region. Then we have a column chart, which is the automatic chart. So make sure that your visuals are not very close to your first visual so there is no confusion. I'm changing to a bar chart so it interprets the data better. And then just format, change the color of the bars to black, and the labeling as well. So go down to our y-axis, make it bold, and increase the font. Yeah, so we turn off the title and do the same for our x-axis as well. For x-axis, we don't need the title and the label, and I'll explain why. Because we're adding data labels, and adding data labels automatically tells us the values that each region brought out. So we just edit this. The position should be outside end, and then the values in black and in bold, and the font should increase. So it is readable. It's also showing in 0.0.0 points. So we don't even know what each value actually contributed, each region contributed. So we change to thousands. And then we reduce the decimal places to 0. So we have our values, and then for the title, go to general and change to sales by region, sum of sales by region. And then for the font, change the font to this, and make it bold, and increase the font to 16, just like the first visual. So we can always copy and paste now, because the remaining visuals we're adding are meant to be column charts. So just drag down to this point and drag again to this point. So first we change this to sales by product, because we are focusing on sales most. Then we change from region to product. And then because the bar chart looks too tiny and then less appealing to the eyes, we can just change to a column chart. So this is what we have with the column chart, and automatically we have our column chart for sales by product, and we need to change from region to product. So that's a very tricky way of copying and pasting. You must be very careful with the values that you are changing. Then for this one is for quantity sold by product, and then we change from sales, turn off both, and then click on product and quantity. There are many more insights you could drive out of this dashboard, but because it's a sales dashboard, we are focusing more on the sales. So change also this also to a column chart. Yeah, this is what we have, the column chart. And then change the color to purple because we are using a unique color for unique metrics. And then for the data label, I believe that we should be able to add a decimal point. So I'll just try to add a decimal point to one decimal point because most of them are like 0.4, 0.4, 0.9. It's very important to note all these changes. And then change the column color to purple because we're using purple for quantity sold. And then for the title, we change to quantity sold by product. So make sure that you capitalized all values. Oh my god, I think there's a mistake. So just cut, yeah, quantity sold by product. Thank you guys for watching this video. This brings us to the end of our dashboard, and it looks more advanced than the first one I dropped on my YouTube channel. See you in my next video. Kindly like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends that are also struggling with their first Power BI projects. This project is actually very easy, and watch other videos as well that I've dropped to learn more about Power BI. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.